Alright, hi guys, it's EsoPa, and this is my 2.9 minor poison guide that I've been trying to get out to you guys for a long time now, but I've kept on getting sidetracked. I've written a text guide that is out on Reddit right now. I'll be posting in the description below if you guys haven't seen that through my Twitter feed already, or the Reddit or the Clash Royale subreddit, so you guys can check it out there. This will be the accompanying video where I go over 5 pretty popular deck archetypes, games that I've gone through in GC challenge, because I don't really think this is a ladder deck unless you have very high level cards here. So we'll be going through a few replays. The first one here is Golem Lightning. We'll be taking a look at Graveyard Tornado, Lavaloon Freeze, 3 Musk Battle Ram, and some Log Bait, which I think are, very pretty popular. Some more difficult matchups here, and I think I'll be shattering some beliefs about minor poisoning. A lot of people think that Golem is very difficult. Actually, Golem is very easy. They think that Lavaloon is, like a hard counter. It kind of isn't. And I'll be showing you the really hard matchups like 3 Musk Battle Ram. So without further ado, we'll be going into the Golem Lightning game. Most of these are pretty high in GC, and I've made sure to choose players who have reasonable stats, compared to me, that I'm not just like overwhelming people with no idea how to play the game. So here he drops the Golem right at the back, and before we start, so the thing about Golem, the goal of Golem is to get pumps out, and then to not take a lot of damage on their towers, but then overwhelm the opponent in one huge push with Golem, Lightning, Baby Dragon, etc, etc, etc. So what he does here is he plays a Golem at the back, and he told me, I spent 8 elixir. If you push my other tower right now, I'm gonna have at least 34 elixir to defend. So my response is to drop all of my cards into the right lane and deal as much damage as I can. The thing about Golem as well is that Golem doesn't get passed through an Inferno Tower, which we have in our deck, unless it's supported by Lightning, or it's supported by a ton of support units. Knowing that, we know that we can drop our units, get an attack, force out elixir from him, and then just drop an Inferno and go. So here I'm gonna wait. I know that he's about to pump. If he didn't pump, then he's telling me he has a Golem without a pump deck, and we basically eat those for free. He pumps in the middle. I think this is a mistake. I think he should have pumped back here and then try and defend. But when opponents pump in the middle, when you're playing Minor Poison, you want to send the miner to the tower with a push. By the way, you want to send the miner to the tower and then poison the vicinity. By doing that, you actually deal damage to the counter-attacking troops that would be going to your tower, while taking the pump out and dealing damage to the tower. So we're gonna start setting up our push in response. Put the knight in the middle, drop the Electro Wizard, and then play Minor Poison when the elixir allows. The Electro Wizard's there kind of so that the knight just doesn't, just die for no reason. There it goes. We get damage from the miner, we get damage from the poison. We clear out his units, and our Electro Wizard takes out his Baby Dragon. Here I know that I'm behind an elixir, because I'm sitting at 5. He just dropped 8. I know at the very least I'm behind at least 3. So I don't really go for an attack. I don't really go too aggressive because I know I'm gonna need Inferno. I'm gonna need at least a log or maybe a knight. But I know that because it's still 1 minute and it's not times 2, that he can't really kill me at the moment. It's not like he can drop Golem, then a Baby Dragon, then a Lightning, and all of this. So I dropped the Inferno in the 4-2 placement as far away as possible. I log out the Goblins, and he Lightnings here. The Lightning is a mistake. He could have used that elixir to play another pump, but instead we dropped the Electro Wizard into. This is really important. We dropped the Electro Wizard to clean up the Golemites, to make sure that the Golem doesn't pop on our tower. But he's also, if we split this down the middle, the Electro Wizard will go to the right lane. By him going to the right lane, we set up ourselves for another counter push, and he makes the mistake of pumping in the middle again. So Electro Wizard is walking, we drop Knight, then we drop another Miner, then we drop another Poison, and just like that, he's going to be taking a lot of damage, loses his pump, and we can get damage from our Log, from our Electro Wizard, from our Knight that's on the tower, from the Miner that's still on the tower. And look what this forces him to do. It forces him to just drop another Golem, and we just keep counterattacking, keep counterattacking. He's not even playing his Golem into the lane that into the lane that we want to attack, which he should kind of do. So, I mean, like, what happens if he does play Golem into this lane? Well, if the tower is down this low at 457, it's actually okay to just miner that tower still. But usually, you'll miner the other tower and just send out, like, miner skeletons. It's perfectly fine. But here we go again. Plays the Golem. We're expecting the lightning. We're not playing into the lightning. We log out the Goblin Barrel. We have the E-Wiz into the right lane one more time. And then we just miner poison the right tower because it's pretty much dead and he has nothing he can do. And from this, we can kind of see that like this Golem player basically had no chance. We dictated his moves throughout the entire time and took the win. All right. Let's take a look at Graveyard Tornado. This is not the bowler version that's been popular, but it still is Graveyard Tornado, this time with an Executioner, with the Baby Dragon, E-Wiz, and really kind of weirdly an Ice Golem. So the general guidelines to beating this deck is you want to not activate the King Tower. When you send out miners, you want to play... Well, what I've been doing recently is because with the prevalence of Tornado out here, I've been sending miners over here or over here. When they're played over here and here, they can't actually be Tornado to the King Tower. The only thing is that you can only do it a few times because it makes you predictable, and then they can just guess out your miners. But yeah, you want to not activate King Towers. If they have like a Baby Dragon, if they have an Executioner, this is a really big point here. Use your Inferno Towers and make sure that they get value. A side effect of Graveyard Poison, Graveyard Tornadoes, that they don't really need the poison to deal damage. What you'll see them do is they'll drop Baby Dragon and it'll walk up. You'll be having units to defend, right? They'll tornado everything to the tower, and then their Executioner / the Baby Dragon will get damage on your tower through AoE. So the Inferno kind of stops that as well. The only thing you got to be careful of is if they have E-Wiz in cycle. With E-Wiz in cycle, then you kind of want to play Infernos a little bit more away. So you see I dropped the miner here. He actually misses his tornado. He actually does play it well if I played it anywhere else, but I'm being very safe, especially in this meta. I dropped the E-Wiz, and then I dropped the Knight. I still don't know what kind of deck is this. This could still be like a Hog Lightning, but I'm still very careful. I see the Ice Golem, and now I kind of have to improvise because I don't have enough to play Inferno and be able to defend this really well. Unfortunately, the Log doesn't kill out the Executioner, which really sucks. I'm going to take a little bit more damage here, but you're going to see that I'm going to start pressuring him relentlessly. So I don't ever really let him get up his elixir to do a huge push on me. The miner will keep dealing damage to him. He can't really tornado it because I was able to get away with putting it into the corner. And here's kind of what I'm talking about with the Inferno, I think. He drops the Execution at the back. Or, yeah. Okay, I dropped the Ice Spear and then I poison him. Because I have the Knight in cycle. If you're playing against Graveyard as well, you always really want to make sure that the Knight is in cycle so you can play it to your tower. If you don't have the Knight or you're forced to use the Knight, then you want to poison your your Crown Tower. And see right here, the Inferno, importantly, stops his Tornado Executioner from dealing damage. Imagine if this Inferno wasn't here. Then whatever we're defending with, he brings right up to his Executioner. The Executioner gets AoE damage onto our tower, and that will lose you the game if you ever let that happen. So the Knight clears everything, and he basically gives me another counterattack. And times two is when you're strong. Times two is when you can start minor poisoning just like this. I know that his tornado is not in cycle because he just used tornado, so I send the minor to a more unpredictable spot. I use poison and I get a lot of damage. And here again, this is where you're going to see Inferno be really key. We placed the Inferno in the Lava Hound placement where you want to make sure that air units don't go right past, because a lot of times Baby Dragon will kind of do the same thing. It'll ignore Infernos over here if it's placed all the way back here. So the Inferno will eat this Ice Golem, will eat this Baby Dragon, keep us really safe. Our Knight is like this full stop to graveyard, Knight log, help us a lot. And just like before, we're gonna just start minor poisoning, minor poisoning. We know that Tornado's in his hand, so we send out the minor to the corner. We're dropping cards so that he can't. He's dropping cards at the bridge so he can't feel like he just can just do graveyard pushes on us. So we're putting the pressure on him. I send the minor to the E-Wiz and I poison. I know that poison log does more than 300 damage. His tower's at 298, so I know that the poison log definitely will take it out. Just like that, we take the game. This is a really tough matchup if you ever activate King Tower early or your miners get guessed. So you really want to avoid that happening. All right, so let's move on to Lavaloon Freeze. So the same thing applies to Lavaloon with Golem actually. Actually, a little bit more so, just because Lavaloon Freeze needs so much elixir to get up that you can just pressure them really hard and take their towers before they kind of take yours. And you're gonna kind of see that here. So he's gonna pump, and then I'm gonna immediately just start dropping cards and just go into him, and you'll see just me take his tower because he just won't have enough to defend it. So he drops his collector. We drop our knight. We drop our E-Wiz. We know that from our cards. We'll have our poison. Play the minor. We minor onto the tower. We poison the collector, the tower. It's pretty lucky that we also get the Goblin Gang. The Knight gets onto the tower because he doesn't have enough elixir to play both Mega Minion and Goblin Gang to defend us, and we instantly take a ton of damage from him. So he drops the minions. Ice Spirit plus E-Wiz will take out minions, and that Mega Minion was brought really low. We clean up the push here. E-Wiz does damage because he has nothing in his hand to defend it. He pumps again, and just like that, we are back in our cycle again. We have minor and poison. We could just send out minor poison again. Oh, instead here, I think I hold on to my poison. Because I think I hold on to my poison here because his tower is already so low that I might just want to keep the poison as defense. I know he has Goblin Gang, but this is a move I usually do if they put a pump in the middle and I don't want to poison it. And I'm also trying to guess something. Like, let's say they have skeletons, Ice Spirit. If you do minor log fast enough, you'll be able to catch them all and deal damage at the same time. I think I'm just wary because I don't know if it's a freeze, a fireball, or if it's a lightning. He drops the lava, he drops the loon, he drops the Goblin Gang. Still a little bit pretty early on. I believe I take a hit here. He freezes my tower. He takes it. Now we're sitting back. So in this position, he doesn't have a pump anymore. He just overextended. Well, the Lava Hounds didn't really kill anything of us. It took our tower, yes, but we've already taken his tower. We're actually still ahead, but he doesn't. But now we have our King Tower activated, which is totally fine. He still has to get up his pump. So what do? Well, we just start pressuring his left lane. Let's see. Or do I go and take his right tower? I pressure his left lane. I poison, because I know that he can't really stop me. I'm going for damage here. Inferno in the middle. I know that it's likely to have a Goblin Barrel. I mean a Goblin Gang to stop us. Now my goal is to just not have this not have this balloon connect. I poison everything to make sure it eventually dies, even if he freezes. He does freeze. He misses his freeze. I send out the miner to the right tower, trying to predict the Goblin Gang here. 14 damage. Overall, I have way more health. I think I can kill off this tower and then just start miner poisoning this one while holding out against this balloon. I pull as far as possible. Log out to take the tower again. And now we're just cycling to make sure that this balloon doesn't hit our tower. 600 HP, we're going to be a lot faster. Miner, Ice Spear connects. We're going to log out those Goblin Gang. Poison. And now, like, for him to do his entire push, for him to get off Ice Spirit, to get off the balloon freeze, we're going to be able to take 15 HP easy. We're going to be able to cycle to our expose a lot easier. So in the case of Lavaloon freeze, or freeze in general, if you really don't have, let's say the Inferno Tower, the E-Wiz or something like that, or they get off the freeze, then yeah, you just lose your tower. But that's okay because the freeze is 4 elixir that they're putting in that isn't actually a troop, doesn't deal damage. So you'll be able to retain units, and that's where your kind of advantage is there. But the main takeaways I would say against Lava Hound is when they play Lava Hound that's going to be 7 elixir, if you can attack the other side and force out more than 3 elixir, it means that they cannot balloon. It means that you're going to be just dealing with Lava Hound and maybe 1 unit, which definitely your Inferno Tower, Skeletons, Ice Spear, etc., will be able to deal with. Alright, and now for probably the hardest matchup in my opinion, 3 Musketeer Battle Ram. This matchup is really difficult because you can never pre-place I thought that you couldn't pre-place Inferno. You can. Just there's a lot of room for error in this matchup when you're playing Minor Poison because you have to overextend a lot. And keeping pumps down all the time is really difficult. It's really tempo-based matchup, especially. What happens here is, let's say they get, you'll a lot of times be down elixir because they'll be pumping on you, and the only way you can kind of take it out is if you miner poison. But miner poison for pump is kind of hard because then when you do the poison, they'll be able to have the 3 musketeers. In general, the gist of this matchup, if you want to win it from the miner poison view, is to deal damage in the beginning to towers while poisoning pumps. Let's say if the pump was over here, you want to miner push into the lower tower while poisoning these pumps. You're basically going to see me do this. You need to play really aggressive here. And never let a battle ram touch your tower. Oh my god, never let a battle ram touch your tower. He starts off with the 3 musketeers in the back. I'm pretty unlucky in that I don't have poison right away. So we need to chill out. I pre-placed the Inferno toward the 2 muskies because if let's say he drops a battle ram here, I can E-Wiz down here and then drop Knight. No matter what, this is a little bit too early on and I'm gonna be taking damage. There's no way to clean this up perfectly. Sends out the miner. I drop the Knight. This muskie locks on. I make sure that the muskie retargets to the E-Wiz and I take a bunch of damage from this miner. This miner basically takes my tower down to 1700, just like that. I'm gonna log out those Goblin gang. There's his what's that? Battle Ram. Skeletons don't. I believe they don't take out. Yeah, I actually think they do. They take out the battle ram alone, but you have to be very careful that they don't have zap or they don't pre-log it. A knight will not take out a lone battle ram. You need knight ice spirit or knight skeleton or knight log, something along those lines. As soon as the knight walks over, I start just pressuring him because he doesn't have a pump out. We turn everything into a counter push. At least we try to turn everything into a counter push, and we even up the tower damage. As you see, we are down elixir, and we're looking to control his pumps. We're gonna play skeletons. We're gonna drop knight into the lane, make a counter push. We're gonna play ice spirit, and we're sending the miner to the tower again. A lot of players would send the miner to the pump, but I see I have poison in my hand again. So if it comes down to it, I will poison the pump. But I was looking for damage. Like let's say he doesn't catch me with the Goblin Gang. I get at least maybe 2-3 swings off. Plus with this knight here kind of granting me a lot of pressure. I am actually able to force out a miner and then am able to log out this defending counterattacking push pretty well. He pumps again, and now we are going to make the same push again. I'm going to do a little something different this time because I see the 3 muskies. So there's actually no point in me sending miner into that lane because the miner will die. Because I need to poison the 2 muskies. If you start seeing the 3 muskies, you need to poison them. You cannot poison the pumps anymore. So what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to back up the knight with the E-Wiz, and then I'm going to send out the miner to the pump. But I'm also going to poison these 2 muskies and log if I need to. I'm going to log here because I see the Lecture Wizard. And then I'm going to drop on top of this muskie. Because I use the log, the Goblin Gang becomes strong, which is one of the really pretty aggressive parts of this deck. Like, if you log the 3 musketeers, then the Gob Gang comes into effect. It's just like, and like we said before, we're going to be really aggressive here. We're just going to keep pushing off of his pushes. We play Ice Spirit and Skeleton so that we minimize minor damage. Because this deck, the thing about Battle Ram decks is that they don't carry a killing spell. They're just, decks are so potent that they rely on 3 Musketeer damage or Battle Ram damage. We play Electro Wizards not on top of... We don't play Electro Wizards on top of Battle Rams ever, because when the Electro Wizard does eventually kill the Battle Ram will pop, and then the Barbarians will kill off your E-Wiz. But the whole point is that you want to keep the E-Wizes alive so you can counterattack. I send out the minor poison. I put the poison in a likely place where people split 3 muskies. People will split 3 muskies always in the middle or back here. If they put it all into here, then obviously all the 3 muskies have to walk into one lane. So I'm basically telling him you cannot place 3 muskies here. And we're going to see exactly why here. He drops all 3 muskies into the lane, is affected by poison, and I can just log him out. I'm actually able to do enough damage that the log and the poison actually give me the game there. I've lost this matchup so many times. It's really hard. There are many different variations to this deck. Sometimes, like, the common variations of this deck don't even use minor. They'll use minion horde, a lot of bait cards. They'll use knights instead of E-Wiz. They'll have zap and log, or they have only zap, or they have only log. And each one requires a little bit of different play style. But overall, you just want to be playing really safe here. Okay, so the last replay is actually against one of my clanmates. Well, I guess I can call him a clanmate. I've been chilling in Lively Colors, this top Japanese clan, probably like the best Japanese clan in the game. And I actually met him at the 11th win for our 12th win in GC, and he was playing a log bait deck. And I just want to show you guys, this guy's a really good player. Here, wait, let me see. Actually, I'm gonna show you guys his profile. So he finished 192. Actually, funnily enough, one space under me. That's 191. But yeah. So he's like a really good player. It's 320,000 cards won. And just this deck is such a win if you play it right against log bait that even like there's no way even a good player can get kind of around it. Your deck has so many answers that there's almost no way that you can lose unless you take too much damage or you mess up early on. You want to hold logs for goblin barrels. You want to be controlling princesses so that you don't always have to contest them at the bridge. Let's see. So we're gonna drop Ewiz on top of this. We're gonna be monitoring the tower. I see the princess on the right over here, so I'm gonna poison everything. If you can poison princesses, that's really good. And basically, the whole gist of this matchup is you want to defend log bait until times 2 elixir, and then you just send out minor poison after minor poison after minor poison, because there's no way for them to defend you unless they use Ice Spear and Knight to come back to stop you. And even then, a lot of players who play Spellbait don't even like have Knight in their deck. A lot of times they'll use Skarmy and Gob Gang and like Electro Wizard. There's like no way they can do anything. So the goal for you is to not take damage, so that you can just get to that point and just keep minor poisoning them. I see the Goblin Barrel. I see that it's kind of high, so instead of using Log, I conserve the Log. I just use an Ice Spirit. Both of his towers are at the same HP, so I'm going to just sit here and wait to see what he does. He drops the Goblin Gang. I send the Knight toward the side with more goblins. And I'm waiting for him. I don't really have to make a play. He drops the Princess. I drop the Ewiz to put pressure. Send the Miner to the Princess and take it out. I could have Poison, but I don't really want to overextend here. Remember, our goal is to live. Sends out the Goblin Barrel. I log it. We're being very patient. We can Knight here. The Knight will die to the Goblin Gang, but the Knight does clear out the Goblin Gang. So you gotta keep that interaction in mind. I drop the Ice Spirit to kind of cycle, make sure we're not leaking Elixir. No matter what side he placed the Princess, I would have poisoned it because both towers are equal. He drops the Knight at the back. So I'm going to play Ewiz. I see that the Goblin Barrel is high, so I wait. He does a really good Fireball here. And we go for the Princess yet again. Miner to the tower, Princess, poison. We just reach her with the poison damage. Goes a log to the side. We log it out. Make sure that the Knight doesn't reach our tower. Then we drop our own Knight. Now it's ×2. Well, I mean, it's been ×2. It's just I've been very aware to make sure I don't make any mistakes here. I see the Princess still. My eyes are constantly like this. I see the Princess. I see this push. I know he has Goblin Barrel in his hand. So what do I want to do? I want to use Skeletons over here. I want Ewiz to set up a defense against here. And when he throws the Goblin Barrel, I'll log it. And then it'll put me back into cycle for minor poison, which I can send indiscriminately to his tower. There's his Goblin Barrel. It is not high. Well, it is actually high. So sometimes it looks high to me and sometimes it doesn't. So I send out the Miner, get out the Princess. Sorry, I forgot to turn off Discord. So that's what you guys are hearing. He's trying to trick me up because that's the only way he'll win. Send out the Miner. He plays Princess a little bit too close, I know that. So I poison again. I need to be very careful here. There's another high barrel. A Spirit Skeletons will clean it up. And another minor poison. I can just start ignoring this Princess now because this tower is basically dead. He doesn't catch my Miner either, which is unfortunate for him. I know that the damage is enough so I can log him out. And we take the game. Just to hammer this point down, I have another log bait game against a guy who has nothing. Like, he has no Knight, he has no tank, he has Goblin Gang, Ice Spirit, Skarmy, and we're just gonna like times through this video really fast. And I don't miss a Goblin Barrel. I don't let his Goblin Gang ever connect to my tower. And you'll just see that this guy has no chance. There's 0 chance. Drop the Ewiz. You see, I don't ever really commit either to a push. If I see value, then I go for the poison. But if I don't see value, I don't go for it. It's later on when you can start affording it. He says good game because he already knows that this is over. Minor Poison is a little bit too strong for this deck. I go for princesses again. Because the thing about princesses, if they are left unchecked, will be one of the ways that they kind of put a lot of pressure on you. Like let's say, like the reason why I sometimes go for minors on princesses, because like if let's say they catch my minor with God Gang, okay, then I can just poison it because then I get princess, tower, and God Gang, right? That's really good. But like let's say I try to play a knight before a princess reaches the bridge. Then they can drop Gobgang. Then they can drop their own knight, and it basically forces you to log them out, and then things get a little bit iffy. But if I go for minors on them in those situations where I think that they'll fight for their princesses, then that's when things get icky. So you see me take out the princesses pretty often. All right, now it's times two. I know that all I have to do is get back to my poison because I used it. I'm always using logs on goblin barrels here. There's a minor poison. I just drop Ewiz. You can't really do anything. The princess is still alive. I'm looking at that. It dropped knight. I see it's another high barrel, so I just use Ice Spirit. Send out the poison again. Every time he plays into it, it's really tough. I do actually do the Ewiz trick with the barrel. That just comes down to feeling and timing. Just like the other game, kind of looks the same. And we take it there. Okay, yeah. So here's the deck again. It'll be to the right of you. Minor Poison 2.9. There's the written guide. I'll make sure that that's included in the description. And tell me what you guys think below. Comments. Yeah, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.